Hey there, it's Miranda once again, and today we're going to be talking about Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Just kidding, we're talking about Final Fantasy VII again. And we're talking about Sephiroth, so you should be excited. It's been about a week since I actually played Final Fantasy VII. And little puppy Xena, she's been taking my time. It's her fault, so I just wanted you to blame her, okay? Here's your opportunity. What I am doing is I'm playing Final Fantasy VII off screen from beginning to end, the original, and I'm giving you my raw takes, completely unaltered. In the description and in a pinned comment, I will link to you the playlist so that you can see part 1 and part 2. So this is part 3 where we get introduced truly to Sephiroth. Please, no spoilers in the comments. Where we left off, we went to Team Rocket headquarters. We went to Giovanni, and then we went on this high-speed bike chase. Cloud uses very mysterious words. Still, not knowing much about Cloud, he says, I need to level the score with Sephiroth. Level the score? What is this score? Cloud has shown that he is not motivated by anything, but there's something about Sephiroth that lights a fire in him. So Cloud wants to go after Sephiroth for his own reasons. And Barrett says something that I really like, which is, will that save the planet? Out of all the characters, I am most siding with Barrett. It is at this point we're going to enter into the world, right? And so I get to pick my party. And it's so different from Final Fantasy X, which I'm streaming right now. I have access to my full party the entire time. So to just go, oh yeah, you're leaving people behind, and I'm probably gonna end up training the same 3 people and I'm gonna forget about everyone else. Okay, my strategy is that I am getting married. And so if I'm gonna get married, I might as well get married to the 2 women I'm gonna ship. And Barrett's words were, thought you'd do that. And I was wondering if that was specifically programmed for me picking Tifa and Aerith, or if Barrett says that every time. Then we're out in the world, and I'm really just flailing around going, I don't know where to go. I don't know. I'm sure that there was dialogue that directed me where to go, but I was just like, ah! I know that the open world thing is a major component in all Final Fantasy games up until before Final Fantasy X. I know that I've played Final Fantasy VIII, so I'm familiar with this open world concept, but being just thrown out there, I kind of wanted that warm blanket of Final Fantasy X where everything was linear, but I really got the sense that I could go anywhere, or the fact that I didn't have invisible walls. It felt like I could skip ahead. So the very first place I ended up going to was the Chocobo Ranch. I got the materia to catch Chocobo. Chocobo is plural for Chocobo, right? Chocobo is the plural word for Chocobo. Or is it Chocobos? No, it's Chocobos. I circled all around and I ended up at the place I think I was supposed to go to, which is called Calm. The homes were Danish-style homes, so it was very cute. When I think of Final Fantasy VII as a fantasy so far, it just doesn't feel very much like a fantasy at all so far. It just kind of seems like a not too far alternate reality. The scumminess does make me think of something like The Watchmen, which is one of my favorite books of all time. At this point, I walk around and talk to some of the NPCs, and they share information, mostly that they're very happy about the Mako energy. They seem to have gotten some kind of propaganda about Shinra, and they see what is happening as positive. These people are shielded from the terrible poverty and suffering of the people. So it is here in this town that Cloud gives his story. And I love the style of storytelling in this, that Cloud is telling the story, but we're also seeing the story, and Barrett is able to interrupt, and Cloud is able to try to remember things or not remember things. His memory is fuzzy in some areas. There is a moment where we steal Tifa's underwear. It gave me a thought about game design. In my streams, I have criticized games that give me dialogue choices, and the dialogue choices mean obviously nothing. Why do I even bother giving an answer if the answer doesn't matter? One way that a game can solve this is that there's just a little pop-up saying, oh, your choice matters. Clementine will remember this. and then suddenly feel like there is some weight to it, even maybe if there is not that much weight. But another thing you can do, which Final Fantasy games do so well, is you can just have really outlandish things to say that feel very out of character. So even though it probably has no impact on the story whatsoever, it is just so funny and so wild to say. The option to steal Tifa's underwear, which was orthopedic underwear. What is it? Is that what it said, orthopedic? Apparently it is corrective underwear for some kind of body deformation. Oh, no. So Tifa has some kind of deformity. I wonder what her deformity is. Maybe this will come back later. So we then learn that Cloud and Sephiroth are war buddies and that Cloud highly admired Sephiroth. I also learned that Cloud says that the events that he's remembering happened 5 years ago, which is a long time in Final Fantasy time, it feels like. So doing the math, Cloud was 16 5 years ago. At the time this game takes place, Cloud is 21, and I think, whoa, Cloud is so old for a Final Fantasy protagonist. I wonder what age demographic this game is marketed toward. This game is for a more mature audience than games that come out later. So we fight a dragon. Sephiroth is ridiculously strong, way stronger than Seymour. And also Cloud is ridiculously weak. I don't know how he's first class or however. We learn at the same time as Sephiroth that Sephiroth's mother is that creepy headless woman that was in Shinra headquarters or Team Rocket headquarters. When I have Sephiroth in my party, I'm able to go into the menu and look at all of his materia and his insane stats and stuff. Anyway, I tried to take some of the materia for myself and unequip it, but when I tried to do it, then I just got a dialogue box of Sephiroth going ... I really appreciate that the game let me go that far. They clearly wanted me to see it. I also learned that materia is knowledge and wisdom of the ancients that is held in materia. Materia is spheres. They're definitely derived from the same idea. On our mission, we come across the Matrix. There's Matrix pods in a creepy building that is highly, highly classified. And when we look into the pods, what we see are Guado. And therein is our first connection from Seymour to Sephiroth, other than their S names. Sephiroth explains that these monsters are showered with Mako energy, and that Cloud has a lesser form of that Mako energy, hence his Mako-infused eyes. And it is then that Sephiroth seems to be clicking. He says, "Am I the same as all of these monsters?" And then he very quickly starts going berserk. There's definitely a literary connection we can draw here, because isn't Sephiroth essentially Frankenstein? His father, a professor, created him, unlovingly created him, and then he goes berserk and he becomes the monster because he's unloved, or I assume he is unloved. Cetra are aliens. They came to the planet 2,000 years ago. I wonder what else happened 2,000 years ago. And then the Genova Project was created. There was a moment that made me feel so mad. Everyone just blinded by rage. Tifa and Cloud both just go after Sephiroth. Tifa finds that Sephiroth has killed everyone and killed her father. So she goes right up to him, and you see his sword. It looked like it cut her in half. She just goes flying. She completely looked dead from what I could tell from the graphics of the game. And I was shocked that she's still alive. And I think, don't tell me, but it better come back later as some mystery as to how she was able to survive. Because Cloud says later, "I thought you were dead." And she's like, "I thought I was dead too," I believe. I was furious when Tifa said, "You promised you'd come." It's like, girl, you didn't even give him a chance. He just went up there. So Mother, from what I understand, or Genova, is considered a super race or a superior race. And the fact that Hojo in the game is showing a lot of German-y, yeah, that they're talking about a super race. Definitely 1930s Germany feel. Making connections to Final Fantasy X again with the Guado also saw themselves as a super race. When you go to Guado Salam and you talk to the NPCs, they talk about believing that they are better than everyone else. So again, another connection from Seymour to Sephiroth. Sephiroth and Seymour are also the only people of their kind in existence in the world, at least from what I know so far, that they're both hybrid creatures. We see Cloud challenge Sephiroth, and then we know that Cloud's memory blanks out from there, and he says the words, "I challenged Sephiroth and survived." So, in other words, he is the boy who lived. He is Harry Potter. And Sephiroth is he who must not be named. And Tifa has to ruin it by saying, "I'm alive too!" I did wander around a bit more. I did some more battling. I realized that just because of my experience with Final Fantasy X, I have an issue with using items when I really should. Like, I wanted to use a tent, but I'm like, tents are expensive. Maybe this is just my own habits because I'm kind of stingy with money in real life. So I'm like, I don't want to use a tent. I want to instead just let my character's health deplete to nothing, or MP deplete to nothing, and I'll go and find another place. So yeah, that's like just another 2 hours of gameplay down, but there is just so much story, and it's so heavy-handed. There is just so much information that I just have to sit and try as hard as I can to process it. And I know that I didn't even talk about everything. And next time, I'll talk about whatever I play next. I hope you join me for my streams on Wednesday and Friday of playing Final Fantasy X currently, and then we're going to be playing Crisis Core after finish playing Final Fantasy VII. And then after that, probably Final Fantasy 16 will be out by then, and we'll be playing that. So I would love it if you join the community. Everyone is so kind and they're so great. So if you like this, then definitely visit my playlist on the other videos on this topic. And yeah, thank you so much for your patience, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.